Where do you see the potential black swan type things, large risks, or maybe the areas where capital is concentrating? And as that concentration occurs, that leads to contagion areas or areas that maybe people could take a hit in 2026, right? Now, I want to kind of present the opposite view. I think you and I are very optimistic, but where, if you had to point to things that are pessimistic, would you point?
So let's go through this. If I had everyone write down what that meant, and let's separate it into two categories. Jordy, I think there's going to be a recession and millions of people are going to lose a job. Okay, that I put as a low, very low probability event for the same reasons that we talked about during the tariff situation. If someone says, I believe the market's overvalued and we're going to see a 30% correction. Okay, so let's go through. 2020, we had a huge correction. That was for a pandemic. 2022, we had a huge correction. That was because the Fed had to turn around after the pandemic and raise rates shockingly fast. Okay, let's go to 2023. We didn't have a huge fall off, but we had Silicon Valley Bank, basically a digital bank run that had not been seen before. And we got a correction. It didn't last very long, but the sentiment dropped off a cliff. And then we had a 20+% correction, 30% correction in the Mag 7 this year on the back of the tariffs. That's 3 big corrections with a run on a bank, 4 events in the last 5 years. I will say this unequivocally. We will have more 20 and 30% corrections in the next 5 years. There is no doubt in my mind. So it really depends on what you're doing. What I think has happened is each one of those had the same ending.